Alright, so I guess with that, we will go ahead and go into our first game. And I honestly forget who the two players that are up first are, but I will tell you here in just a sec once I know. And it looks like it is in the top left-hand corner. As the red Terran, we have Diarrhea Terran, and in the bottom right-hand corner, as the brown Protoss, we have Laser Snipe. Diarrhea Terran, I know a little bit less about. Why is Garandad always getting timed out by Nightbot? Sometimes I'll have to figure out, what do you do, Garandad? Why is it only you? Does it hate you? I don't know how it works, so... Anyway, Laser Snipe plays for Team Dragon Herb, and I believe he is a C- Protoss. And Diarrhea Terran, I think, from what I've heard, used to play quite a bit more Brood War and back in the day, and now he's kind of returning to play. I think he was probably, I don't know, C or something back then. Apologies if I'm totally off on that. But, holy shit, 600 seconds? Good God. I need to figure out how to make that doing that. Well, RIP Garandad, RIP. That's like 10 minutes. Alright, so Laser Snipe getting a pylon. Diarrhea Terran getting a depot, pretty normal stuff. In fact, pylon is the only Protoss choice for a building. I guess you could technically start with a Nexus or an Assimilator, but like Noni famously said in his commentary, you will find that to build a gateway you need a pylon. And of course, depot, and then we've got barracks, so no wall off. Probably we'll see some sort of, you know, tank, marine, vultures with mines, FD type opening for Diarrhea Terran. Always the off chance you could go 2 fact. A lot of times if you're going to go fact port though, you will wall off, so I don't think we'll see fact port dropship style play from Diarrhea Terran, although honestly that is much more out of favor than it used to be, I don't know, 5 years ago. Like, that used to be a build I encountered pretty often. You know, 1 in 5, maybe that's a little bit generous. 1 in 5, 1 in 10 games. Now, it's been a long time since I've seen a fact port, you know, for vulture drop opening. So, Zealot on the way for Laser Snipe. Cross position shouldn't really do much if he even tries to harass at all. Probes going on to gas. Core almost done. And we can see Diarrhea Terran just playing it safe, looking for any proxies or anything dangerous in the center there. Which will actually work out for him because he is going to directly scout to Laser Snipe space, so he'll get nice, quick, early intel. Got a first factory up. The second SCV here makes me a little bit curious. Is he going to... No, he's going to make another depot next to the barracks, so he's got a little bit of SimCity walling. Sees the Zealot coming out, sees the gateway. Let's see if Laser Snipe is going to grab Dragoon range or do something else. He spent 50 gat. What? Oh, Dragoon. Derp. Alright, so starting his Dragoon production. And is he going to go ahead and get range? Not taking any guys off gas. Dragoon range. Looks like a fairly simple, fairly standard opening here for Laser Snipe. And the same for Diarrhea Terran. If he's going to put down a second factory, he's going to put it down here quite soon. He does have 2 Marines to block the ramp, so Laser Snipe will get... Well, actually with a Zealot, he will get some scouting information depending on how he micros it, if he chooses to micro it. Dragoon pops out here for Laser Snipe, second pylon. And looking pretty normal here for Diarrhea Terran. Let's see how he deals with the Zealot coming up the ramp. Reaction is actually pretty fast, so should deal with this with no problem. Each Marine taking just 1 hit, Zealot getting a bunch of damage, 4th Marine out. No problems here for Diarrhea Terran. Again, cross spots was never really going to do that much. Could poke up again with the Dragoon, but honestly that Zealot is so softened up that will not be able to do any form of meaningful aggression. Hiding the SCV over here, probably going to try to come back a little bit later and confirm if the Nexus is up, and if he's lucky, sneak into the main for the full read. Probe out for Laser Snipe after he starts 3rd Dragoon, so yeah, completely standard 1 gate expand. Look at that, there comes the SCV from Diarrhea Terran, which will waltz right on. Actually, it will not waltz right on into the base. The Dragoon will be popping right as it pops in. Actually, wait. Is it going to be just fast enough? I think it's going to be just fast enough to slip past the Dragoon. Is he ready to attack right away? Yes, he is. Alright, so he will deny some scouting. For all he knows, there could be a Robo and a Citadel down here. Pretty unlikely with the spinning core, but not utterly impossible. Alright, FD coming out now for Diarrhea Terran, pushing Laser Snipe back off his bridge. Feeling confident. Pretty nice control there, keeping the Marines right up there with the tank. Let's get a little DND action. And And all right, here we go. A little bit of a push here. This is a little bit less on the ball with the control. Got to keep those Marines right up against the tank. The idea is to make it so that the Dragoons cannot get shots off on the Marines without taking a tank shot every time they do so. But really all he wants to do is just get out to his bridge, push the Dragoons away so he can get Vultures out, get some mines on the map, and Laser Snipe is actually anticipating this Vulture very nicely. He probably saw it go down, and he's trying to find it and pick it off, but it has taken a different route, and honestly, I really like this game sense from Laser Snipe. He seems to be totally on this. Yeah, look at this, repositioning this Dragoon down here. He totally knows what this Vulture is up to. Very nice Dragoon movements there. Prepared to deal with that, and of course, the mine now at the expansion, so he will know exactly when and if Laser Snipe elects to take a third base. He's going to drop a second factory. Do we have any sign of an eBay? No. So opting for that second factory before eBay, feeling confident in fairly standard Protoss play. If you were worried about a Reaver DT drop, then you would obviously want to prioritize that eBay a little bit higher. And a Probe Scout is going to go out here for Laser Snipe. I don't think he will get much intel at all. It's pretty hard to get any sort of a read that matters on Terran with a probe. I mean, I guess you can check the third base, but beyond that, you won't see into the base, which is, you know, nothing outside of the base for Terran will tell you what's going on. You just pretty much need to see how many factories are being made. So 3 gateways on the way for Laser Snipe in addition to his observers, which are starting now. Queues up a second one, grabs that second gas, and he's probably going to wait for the obs to come out and then consider taking his third base. He's not throwing down any fast tech, so I am thinking he is planning to expand here. I mean, he could always run a goon over and sack the, well, he wouldn't even have to sack the goon, but run the goon into the mine to clear out the third base. But right now, just sitting back nice and defensively, making sure that Vultures don't run in. It may have made him a little bit nervous. When he walked in here, didn't see any Vultures. Not knowing what Terran's making, he might be thinking, I wonder if there's some Vultures out on the map and I need to be pinned back and playing safe. Fortunately for him, there are not. So first obs out now for Laser Snipe. eBay for Diarrhea Terran. And he's got an STV over here. He's got 400 minerals. Command Center? Probably Command Center. Alright, so Diarrhea Terran is going to be going for a pretty macro-heavy 3-base Terran play. Off of 2 facts. Now, given Laser Snipe does not appear to be making a shuttle, there shouldn't be too much of an opportunity to put pressure on the third base for Laser Snipe. That said, he does have a Citadel. Actually, no, he's going straight for Arbiters. So this is going to be 2-base Arbiter. Okay. So we're going to have tech play from Laser Snipe against the standard fast expansion, fast, quickish third base from Diarrhea Terran, who's going to head over there right now to get the third base. And definitely with the ARBs, that's going to leave Protoss with 0 options to pressure the third. So it's going to be very comfortable here for Diarrhea Terran getting up his third base. No scanners yet, so he still doesn't know what Protoss is doing. He doesn't know about this Arbiter tech yet, so we will definitely not see a response of super fast vessels. That is one response that has gotten somewhat popular from Terrans these days, is if they see 2-base Arbiters, they play a little bit more of a 2-base build and throw down that starport on 2, 3, 4 factories and go straight to starport and vessel for fast tech to deal with that Arbiter. 3 mines here, plus a tank should be safe from just Dragoons. As long as, it would be nice if he had another tank or 2 unsieged that he could quickly bring over there, but honestly, unless he goes super aggressive with this and pulls it off, he won't be able to get up. And of course, with the wall, that is almost completely safe now from Laser Snipe. Huh. Just missing that mine. This Dragoon looks like it ate a mine, but he didn't lay one. Let's see. Can he put the Nexus down? He might just be able to slide the Nexus down. Yeah. Mine not quite blocking that build spot. Alright, so getting Stasis. Should start an Arbiter soon. I would rather him start the Arbiter before Stasis, as the Arbiter build time is much longer than the upgraded research time. There we go, but the Arbiter does start nice and promptly. And given the unit compositions, there's not going to be a lot happening in this game for the next few minutes, I don't think. It is going to be pretty much just players sitting there, mining minerals, mining minerals, mining minerals, upgrades. All the usual stuff. Comp stats finally being added for Diarrhea Terran, so he will finally know what he is up against here from Laser Snipe. And I think really his only concern is going to be dealing with that super fast Arbiter. And based on what Laser Snipe is playing, really the main threat from that first Arbiter is going to be a reasonably quick recall. There's not going to be any sort of fast stasis attack trying to hit a really clumped group of tanks, as the gateway count is just not high enough to support it. Factory's starting to explode now for Diarrhea Terran, who is getting a very strong economy. We can see he's actually quite a bit ahead of Laser Snipe in terms of worker count. So Laser Snipe is going to need to use his tech fairly effectively here if he doesn't want to feel too far behind, as Diarrhea Terran is definitely going to be maxing out close to or before the timing of Laser Snipe, which is usually a pretty scary situation as Protoss. As a general rule of thumb, if you are playing against a Terran that has big 200-200 army, you really like to have, 4 or 5 bases and ideally gateways in another main before Terran comes out. It gives you just a ton more flexibility to be able to fight against Terran. And if all your gateways are on one base and you lose the battle and Terran walks up to your natural and sieges up, a lot of times you're done for, because it's such a strong position and there's no way to get out over the bridges. Whereas if you have gateways at another main, then you can make units, you can attack from both sides. It just gives you a lot more flexibility. Oh, and 2 SCVs are struggling with the wall right now, and will probably continue to do so for most of the game. I know that tends to happen if you send them the wrong way. They just don't realize they can't get in this way. They try, and then they get sent away, and then they're like, oh, well, let's try again. Alright, so second upgrade, did he get... I was hoping he was going to be like super on the ball with his upgrades. Let's see how long it takes him to start his second attack upgrade. Upgrade timing is really nice for Diarrhea Terran, by the way. If he starts this quickly, he'll have, nice solid 13-14 minute 2-1 timing. Perhaps waiting for 50%? No, that wouldn't really make sense. He should be starting this now. A little bit of inactivity on the map with the vultures, but I think he's going to go ahead and start getting some mines out right now. But again, Laser Snipe honestly is just going to be sitting in his base, macroing up for a little while. Like I said, getting recall. I think that's what we're going to see, is a fast recall. So how Diarrhea Terran handles that is going to be pretty pivotal here in a few moments. Hopefully he'll mine this base up a little bit and then be anticipating a recall. He's scanned. He should see the fast arbiters, reasonably fast arbiters, and be suspicious of that. And now finally getting, especially as he continues to scout and doesn't see any bases. I mean, if you scan a 3-base Protoss and all you see is arbiter tech and Protoss is just kind of sitting in his natural, you got to be thinking, this guy's probably going to try to recall me. So there shouldn't really be an excuse for him not being adequately prepared for the recall. We can see already 150 supply. Adding a 7th factory probably can add 2 or 3 more factories. And there we go. We're pulling some units back into the main base, possibly thinking about that recall a little bit more. Yeah, we can see he's starting to mine up his base. I would like to see him mine up the 3rd a little bit more. Somehow I expect Laser Snipe will go for a recall to the 3rd base and not to the main. And taking that 4th base now. Starting to get some decent mines on the map, some good coverage. And there we go, there's the 8th factory. Did he start that +2 upgrade? No, that's a long time. Now we're at like 2 minutes of forgetting that upgrade, so that's gonna definitely weaken his push quite a bit. 2-1 is a popular, strong upgrade point for Terran. I think it might be where tanks 2-shot Dragoons. I think there's a reason why that's inherently valuable. We can see Laser Snipe almost has his +1 done. And moving out without an obs. That's always a bit of a dicey proposition. Zealot sucking up some of these minefields, but definitely eating a few of these mines, softening up a few of his initial units. And is the Arbiter going to move out on the map? What is his game plan? What does he want to do? Unknown yet. We can see supplies very close, basically dead equal right now. Minerals quite high for both players though. Diarrhea Terran, until now, looks like he's been macroing okay, but I just don't think he had enough factories for his economy. I mean, 62 STVs is a reasonably strong economy, and he's had that. Now, oh, we got the recall into the 3rd base. Recall goes down. There were some mines. Dragoons going down pretty quickly because they were already softened up. He will kill all the tanks off here, but only a few units left, and this should get cleaned up pretty darn easily from Diarrhea Terran, and that is going to put Laser Snipe in a pretty uncomfortable position. That recall more or less did nothing. He killed a couple SCVs and got 2 tanks out of it, but it also cost him a control group and a half plus an Arbiter. And of course, Diarrhea Terran has his full set of factories running 150 supply. And it looks like he is unsieging and probably getting ready to head out on the map. How much does Laser Snipe have? It looks like about 2.5 control groups here, so he does have pretty close to a full Protoss army. Diarrhea Terran having a decent Terran army, although still at 150 supply. A little bit slow right now to remacro. In fact, his factories are not making it all. No wonder he's a little bit slow, I was going to say. And now we have a second recall, and this is a much beefier recall here to the 3rd base. He's going to need to float that command center away, and it's just going to be a question of how smoothly does he deal with this. Needs to siege a few tanks up at the bottom of the ramp here and push these back. I guess he's waiting for these zealots to die. He's going to target fire the command center. It looks like he's starting to think about that now. Yes, command center, I don't know if it'll be able to float away. Let's see, he's working his way up on the ramp, and no, the command center is definitely going to die. So now the second recall for Laser Snipe getting some serious value, and he kills it fast enough that he can turn and fight the tanks, but actually he is not. So he is going to donate army, and then we will have to see Diarrhea Terran's response. Obviously, Laser Snipe now has given up 2.5, 3 control groups for almost no units. He's done some pretty darn good damage killing the CC economically, but he has done absolutely nothing to soften up the army of Diarrhea Terran, killing only a small handful of vultures. His one savings grace is that Diarrhea Terran is really, really struggling in this game with macro. Like, had he been macroing, he basically hasn't macroed in the last, like, 3 minutes. So this might be what keeps Laser Snipe in the game at this point. I do like that Diarrhea Terran is going to go ahead and push out, as he does have a pretty sizable army given he's lost some of his SCVs. You know, this is a decent 3 or 4 control group army here, and Laser Snipe, again, has traded units for economic damage. So the superior army right now definitely is in favor of Diarrhea Terran, although Laser Snipe is fairly close to Remax. However, his army doesn't look that beefy, and it is certainly not coordinated. He's running in here in quite the line. It looks like a pretty good setup right now for Diarrhea Terran, other than the lack of mines, but the scan was a bit late, so that does allow the Zealots to run in close, and a good stasis going on. Will Laser Snipe have enough units? That shuttle is pretty dangerous if it starts dropping these Zealots, but the Dragoons are overstaying their welcome, and this time, actually, no, there's not that much macro. He really needs to get back on the macro train. It looks like he's starting to get some stuff going in his factories now and start mining this up. And then is he going to go to the 4th base or to the 3rd base? It is unclear yet, but right now he's just kind of got units sitting out on the map. It looks like Laser Snipe is going to lose his shuttle for absolutely nothing. That would be a useful thing to have. I don't think either of them realize it's over there. One more shot. Okay, it does clean up that, so he doesn't have to worry about Zealots getting dropped on top of his tanks. And next wave of units coming out right now from Laser Snipe. 2 more Arbiters on the way, but for the moment, I don't think there are any Arbiters on the map here for Laser Snipe. Alright, Diarrhea Terran, if he's going to do this, if he's going to sit here, he absolutely needs to expand here, and here, and here. But as Terran, he did a good push, he killed Protoss army, this is a good position, but if you just sit here and don't do anything, then you'll end up getting back behind. Although Laser Snipe needs to pull this group back. Okay, he is paying attention and does do so. And it looks like he is starting to work his way towards the 3rd base. But the gist is, especially if you're a little bit behind economically, as Protoss has this big economy, he can replenish his army easily. You just won the battle, but if you just sit on the map here, you're giving this big economic Protoss plenty of time to macro up an entirely new army, and then he can come and crush you. So there's a balance you have to do between sitting on the map doing nothing. Pretty nice flank here from Laser Snipe coming in. But is it enough? I don't know. He actually... Oh, that is a really nicely timed reinforcement. Laser Snipe needs to back up right now, seeing all those vultures come. That's a really interesting tank to D-Matrix. I don't think that tank was getting attacked at all. Little run in here of Zealots, but again, a lot of vultures. And now we'll see if he can get something done. He is headed towards the 3rd base. But as I was talking about right before Laser Snipe attacked, there's this balance you have to get between pushing too fast and just suiciding your army and just sitting on the map doing nothing, giving Protoss time to macro back up. Nice little siege spot here. Going to start taking out those pylons, and then he can get up here into the 3rd base. But the next wave here from Laser Snipe, who is starting to get some pretty good macro going, and we can see the tank count is getting pretty low. There's a lot of stuff stasis, though, which means that if Laser Snipe doesn't have enough units, although it's starting to look like he does, especially with units pouring out of these gateways, I think he might break this position. And if he does, he will be able to eat these stasis units. They are unstasising, but kind of at a bad time, although all the zealots are going to the wrong tank, that is for sure. He's trying to bring stuff back, but Diarrhea Terran just does not have enough of an army now. He's just given Protoss a little bit too much time. Fortunately, he has reestablished his third base, but it's looking, especially with reinforcements coming in here, like Laser Snipe has held this off, although his units are finding a bad time to take a break, and that is a lot of Goliaths. That's a strange army to see. Oh, actually, is he going to just ever so slightly hold on to this position? He's going to lose the tank. He's still got one tank, but against all the gateways of Laser Snipe, which are macroing pretty well by and large, I think he's going to lose this position here fairly soon, especially with Arbiters there. There is not a vessel in sight, although if you do that with your Arbiters, and it looks like now he's going to try to go ahead and push up into the fourth base, although this is tricky, because this is up a ramp, and pushing up a ramp is usually... Okay, he does seem to be aware of this. Pushing up a ramp is usually not that easy. However, oh, he got a tank. I did not realize he got a tank over there. I thought Laser Snipe had cleared that out with all of his units standing here, but I guess he walked just past, and they didn't already go down there and kill that. But he holds on to his base, so keeping that alive. And again, Diarrhea Terran, he's killed a lot of Protoss armies, but he hasn't done anything to slow Protoss's economy itself or create a stranglehold where Laser Snipe can't be effective with his units at ramps or bridges. So Laser Snipe is just getting into a stronger and stronger position. I mean, he's sitting on 5 bases now. He's got a lot of gateways. Diarrhea Terran is mostly mining out. He's spent through most of his bank at this point, and it's starting to look pretty difficult for him. He will get over here and finally kill this base. The downside for him is there's only about 2k minerals left at this base, so it's not the hugest of losses. And he'll be able to go over here and clean this out anytime he wants. It's a pretty small army. Trying to mine up this, I do like that, but I wonder if there are enough units. Laser Snipe still has a lot over here. He's got 2 Arbiters, although not with stasis. And I think he's just going to try to sandwich this. Yeah, here we go. First Zealots running in. Oh, he pulls them back. Should spread them out a little bit. But it looks like he has enough here with a little bit more goon spread. Arbiter showing up now. There's no vessel. He needs a scan. He doesn't have it, so the little bit of cloaking is helping out, and he is going to go ahead and finally clean this up. And this time, it is cleaned out. Sneaking a few tanks over here, trying to harass Laser Snipe's 4th base. However, there are... yeah, there's enough Zealots. He should just run some Zealots over there and deal with this without too much difficulty. And this might be close to the last gasp for Diarrhea Terran unless he can establish a position over at this base. But given his lack of army, that is really only going to happen if Laser Snipe is non-attentive and just misses that base is there. A few tanks attacking this, but again, Dragoons and Zealots are nicely on top of it. Well, I say that, and then the Zealots run over there. It would be better if they go down the ramp, but Dragoons on the high ground can take care of 2 tanks okay. Arbiter coming over to make everything invisible, and this base is well held. Laser Snipe still at 50-something probes, so both players still on... Well, Diarrhea Terran's not on that great of economy because he's only mining from 1 base, but Laser Snipe, on the other hand, has a bunch of probes mining spread out over 3 bases, so still having a huge economy, which means that Laser Snipe's army is about to grow really fast, and Diarrhea Terran's army is going to be kind of stuck at like 120 supply. And unfortunately for Diarrhea Terran, this transfer of SCVs is right to Laser Snipe and has led Laser Snipe to... Actually, there was already a Zealot that had wandered up to that base. So this base is shut down. Diarrhea Terran, it looks like he's going to try to defend it. If he could hold here, if he could hold this position, I would say he could get back in this game. But I think it is going to be really difficult to do. But let's see what kind of engagement Laser Snipe takes here. Everything fighting unsiege, which is fine because it is mostly Zealots, and obviously Vultures do great against Zealots, and unsiege tanks do okay. And now the Dragoons come, and I think Laser Snipe is actually going to get beaten here. His army has not worked together very well, and pure siege tank does take care of Dragoon okay. So he is going to hold this position for a moment. Unfortunately, his position is going to be dead as Laser Snipe did leave behind 5 goons and basically donated those units as a little bit of a stalling tactic. Whether that was intentional or unintentional, I'm not sure, but it paid off for him because he did kill the CC, and at this point he's so economically ahead, he doesn't really care if he loses units needlessly. It was absolutely worth it to trade those units for the CC. I mean, even if he lost his entire army right now, I mean, Terran could push, but he would re-macro so much faster that he could just, you know, break that push. And it looks like sending this Goliath forward, but he's going to go ahead and clear these units out, and then I think his only chance at this point would be to hang out over here, try to establish this base, and try to establish that base, and get his economy running. And if you were to do that, Laser Snipe would probably want to switch into Recall to try to break this base. It looks like he's just trying to break it with Brute Force right now, and honestly, he's got enough macro that that very well might be possible. Not quite with this round of units, but we can see how much this has already been whittled down. It's now down to, what, 5 tanks, a few vultures? So another wave or two of this should be enough to just bludgeon this into submission. Vulture trying to clear out here. I think he wants to expand over here. Yeah, he's building this command center. I honestly might not have even built that. I might have just flown this command center. Down to his last minerals. Here comes Laser Snipe, although tanks at the top of a ramp are really strong. Laser Snipe, let's see if he can get up the ramp nicely. He is working on that now, trying to run his units up there. But tanks on a ramp are being super strong, and the Zealots are unfortunately attacking the worst possible tanks. So, yeah, three or four tanks on the high ground holds off 2.5 control groups of Protoss. If there was a command center up there right now, if it would have been mining the whole time, I would be saying that Laser Snipe is that Diary Terran is starting to get back into this game just a little bit. However, there is not. So he is defending a location that is currently not helpful to him. In fact, if I were Laser Snipe, I would probably just put an Ops here, and if there's no CC, just let these units chill over here because they're defending and doing absolutely nothing, which means there's less units at every other location that actually matters. SCV transfer, I guess, yeah, if you're already mining at saturation from this base, you could have a few more SCVs mining over here, but if you're already at saturation, yeah, you might as well just start mining from there while you float your CC over. See if he's going to hold them or just let them go run back. Looks like he's just going to let them run back. And Laser Snipe... yeah, he's low on gas. Why is he not? He's not mining from that gas. He only okay, that's why. He only just started mining from that gas. So, these two Arbiters have eaten up the last of his gas. And I think we're just waiting at this point. Oh, we got a little recall. I thought I heard something. So, he actually is going to snipe that CC. So, that is it for CC mining. And now we've got the flank on both sides. And I think that is it for Diarrhea Terran. I just don't think he has any more units left to defend with. No more bases anywhere. Basically out of minerals. Maybe he's going to make a last stand at his own base or something, but Laser Snipe has completely powered through this army. Maybe going to try to save this little group of recalled units, but there's just too much from Laser Snipe at this point. It would be nice if he would collect his army and let it all fight together, but I think he just has enough flood of Protoss. We can see there's a big group of units sitting there at the natural, and it's just too much. No way for Diarrhea Terran to defend at this point. One Zealot running forward, and bam, that tank is down, just surrounding the recall now. And Diarrhea Terran at that point does say GG. Laser Snipe takes it. So, nice initial recalls. The double recall was a nice touch. A lot of times you're expecting the first one, but then the second one comes and you're like, oh shit, I didn't expect you to do 2 of them. And then from that point, Diarrhea Terran did a nice push, completely wrecked Laser Snipe's army, but unfortunately for him, just didn't move quick enough. Honestly, had he, realized, hey, I just killed everything Protoss threw at me, all of his Dragoons, everything is dead, that's the moment where you take your whole army and you go. Like, if he would have just taken 2 or 3 tanks, spread them to the one base, taken the rest and killed the third, then he could have got himself into a really strong position, but unfortunately he just sat on the map a little too long, and let Laser Snipe macro up some more armies that whittled down his army with his inferior economy from having lost that third base. So, next game is on Demian, which is a map I don't know very well. So, spawning at the 3 o'clock position as our Orange Zerg, we have Coach-Pupil. And in the bottom position, I guess we'll call it 6:30, 7 o'clock, we have Arc Times, also known as Fat Reaver. Coach-Pupil, from what I remember, pretty solid C- macro type Zerg. And then we have Fat Reaver, who is a C- Protoss. He is Peruvian, but in spite of that, he actually does have okay macro play, but certainly not afraid to mix up a few more Peruvian-esque builds, which he might be doing here because this is 7. And the probe is already heading onto the map. So, yeah, okay, well, I guess that makes sense. Never mind, this is PvZ, not PvT. You would need to send a probe at this timing. Excuse that commentary. Alright, let's get a look at this map. I don't know Demian very well. I'm assuming it's a 3-player map, here, here, and here. I believe this is a foreign-made map. Alright, so that's the natural, and then the third is what, on a high ground pod with one entrance? But you can also take, oh, I have played on this map before though, and then there's also a, no, there's a base over here too. So I guess you have the choice to take either this third, which is sort of, oh, there's like two paths in here. This is a really interesting layout. I don't even know what to say about this map. There's like two entrances to the natural. This map would take some playing to get used to. But it is nice to see some 3-player maps in the map pool. We don't have too many of those right now. Forge for arc time, so normal PVZ opening right now. Pool on the way for Coach-Pupil. Looks like over pool judging from the timing. The fact the second overlord's done, pool's halfway. And of course that should force out a cannon from Fat Reaver before Nexus, unless he's feeling really ballsy, which maybe he is. Although he hasn't scouted yet. Oh, this could be a little bit dicey. A little bit dicey if he actually places the Nexus first. That's why a lot of times I think it's better to double scout, because if you double scout, you can go ahead and place your Nexus first if it's 12th hatch. If you don't double scout, then you can't. Wow, he's feeling very confident. Oh, he didn't make any lings though. Okay, so it's gonna work out, but that could have been awfully close. Had he popped 4 lings without having scouted and just run across the map, that could have been trouble. You gotta remember, those already popped. If those were Zerglings, they'd be like right here now, and he would be in serious trouble. So Arc Time's getting lucky being blind with the Nexus before cannon opening. I would recommend that, especially on a map like this, a little shorter rust distance, I would recommend that you scout Zerg first before you put down your Nexus. And if you really want to take advantage of the fastest Nexus, then double scout. That way you'll always see in time if Zerg is going for pool first versus hatch first. And it looks like Coach-Pupil is going to go ahead and opt for the high ground third base, which I guess makes for some easy SimCity. If you just throw a hatch and like Evo Chamber there, you can probably do some nice stuff at the ramp. Of course, one thing to note about this map and this particular third base location is that it does not provide access to another natural, which likely means that Coach-Pupil will play a little bit on the aggressive side of things. Usually taking a close base results in a little bit more of an aggressive early play. We see a hatch going down quite early, which means he might be doing 4 or 5 hatch before gas. As he's putting down that hatch with his immediate 300 minerals, and you know, if you can get a hatch down at 18, it means you haven't taken it. Looks like it's gonna be 4 hatch before gas. So he will need some Hydra out to defend the first Corsair, going off the assumption that Fat Reaver is gonna make a Corsair. And 2 lings finally across the map. Zealot is out and gets a hit off on those lings. Nice reaction though from Coach-Pupil as he quickly turns them around. Although, okay, there we go. I was gonna say, just as I say that, he then suicides the two Zerglings into the Zealot, but he will not be making that mistake. And at some point, let's see, it's gonna force out a couple more lings, but the Zealot should turn around sooner. It's gonna get surrounded. I don't think it's worth it to pressure this far. He's already forced out the lings. All right, well, let's see what he can get done with it. Now we've got 6 lings out. Let's see if it gets anything done or if he's just donating it. Nice blocking attempt here from Coach-Pupil. Pulls back the ling. Good control so far. I like what I'm seeing, although all of his lings are not coordinated, so this is honestly not the best so far. And now Arc Times is going to go try to hide that guy behind the minerals, but he's not far enough behind. It looks like Coach-Pupil is going to take this out with minimal losses. Loses only 1 Zergling. Another Zealot comes in, but again, it is probably just going to be a donation Zealot, especially if it tries to run all the way past here. Let's see if Coach-Pupil can cut it off. Kind of. Alright, needs to split a few of them up. Doesn't want to fight it like that. Splitting 1 ling, but having a little bit of trouble with it. Alright, so he's lost 1 ling so far. This Zealot's starting to get a little bit more value. Arc Times is microing the living daylights out of it. Doesn't want to just stick it back there behind the minerals, trying to force value out of it, and doing a pretty good job of it right now. This Zealot having killed 2 lings, now going for drones. Alright, gonna go ahead and fight this ling. We'll kill that one. So this Zealot is now pulling its own weight, having already killed 3 lings. If it gets a 4th one, it'll be even better, but not quite able to get that last hit. Now there's Zealot on the way. Overlord finally gonna see what is going on. Of course, we've got the Corsair coming out. Lairs on the way, but again, no way you can have Spire timing. He does have his Hydra Den down though, so he will be able to get a few Hydralisks out to deal with that Corsair. He's made a little extra Overlord space to do so. and has one last zealot to deal with in his main. Actually, another zealot's trying to run through here. Is he going to block the ramp, or is he going to let it in? It's going to be almost dead, though. So, should be dealt with. A little bit annoying for him that these zealots are continuing to run. I think Art Times is overextending with these zealots a little bit. It means he's going to have absolutely no map presence for a while now, and no attempt to put on pressure. So Coach-Pupil will be able to go ahead and proceed with the rest of his build without fear, whether that's just droning up a bunch or starting to spam out Hydra. But there's no real opportunity for Coach-Pupil or for Fat Reaver to put on pressure. And if Coach-Pupil opts for a lot of Hydra, he will absolutely need cannons, having lost those initial zealots. A few Templar and cannons will not hold against switching into mass Hydra from here. And actually, this is just straight up 4-hatch Hydra, so he's going to need cannons anyway. And seeing that, I think we're going to see Hydra. And actually, we've already got a lot of links coming. Oh my god, he's dead. He has misread this completely. Even without link speed, he's completely dead. He's got nothing. He's suicided all of his zealots and hasn't made any extra cannons. I guess, well, I say he's dead, but if Coach-Pupil doesn't realize he's dead, he may not actually kill him. I think he's a little bit worried too about these overlords. Overlord's speed is pretty close to being done, though. I'm really surprised he is not more concerned about his position right now. I don't know what Fat Reaver Arc Times is missing here. Why he doesn't think he's in danger, but he's got no units and one cannon. He's got one zealot. He's trying to sneak. Oh, I thought he was trying to sneak a DT, but he's continuing to throw zealots into these Hydra for no gain. I honestly don't understand this play at all right now from Arc Times. It'd be one thing if your zealots were doing great damage and you were like out multitasking, living daylights out of your opponent, but I mean, Coach-Pupil has dealt with his zealots just fine, and he's just continuing to keep his unit count back at home. He does finally add a second cannon. He does have his archives, but is he even making Templar? And no, he's not. He's making Dark Templar. Hello. So this DT is going to do some damage, but on the downside, he's going to die. So Coach-Pupil's going to have this moment where he's like, fuck, the DT's doing so much, and then he's going to realize, oh, I won the game. I guess it doesn't matter. Is he going to... Oh, he's got to wait for his Overlord. It's actually a bad spot to go for the DT. The DT's self-surrounded. Alright, so we're seconds away from Arc Times actually dying. This DT is going to do some wonderful damage. I don't think there's enough Corsair count to allow for the Bisu versus Calm style defense. And now the front is down, and a group and a half of Hydra, and there's just no way you're going to defend that with absolutely 0 units. I mean, sure, the DT is doing some work on the hatchery. Corsairs are keeping Overlords from going over there, but his main is dead. He has absolutely... Well, okay, he's got 1 unit. He's got a lot of gateways, but his gateway explosion is a bit too late to deal with all of these Hydra, and all Fat Reaver can do is say GG. So yeah, I don't know. I think that was kind of an interesting game. Fat Reaver's a strong enough player that he should have just noticed what was happening, but he didn't seem to understand at all what the build was for Coach-Pupil and that there was going to be a bunch of Hydras coming, so he just kind of got ran over, especially donating that many zealots. So, we will go into their second game on Overwatch. Spawning in the bottom right-hand corner as the Teal Zerg, we have Coach-Pupil. And in the top left-hand corner as the Orange Protoss, we have Fat Reaver. And everybody today in chat is super quiet. Nobody has anything to say at all. Except for Garandad. He's the only person that's talked. Actually, I lied. Snowfruit talked and Chroniker said hello. But that is the extent so far. Everybody's just watching the games in like super focused silence. 2-player map, Overlord on the way straight to the base of Fat Reaver. Now this base, if I recall, there are bridges right about here. Third base over here. You are the missing link. Oh, yeah, that's true. There are some people that are preparing for games, so I could see that. Yeah, I actually have to play after this too, but it's going to be hard. Did you really? Did it actually? No. Oh, yeah, maybe it just had too many symbols. So it, like, I still need to set it up so it doesn't, like, ban people for that. I said I put the Nightbot thing on mostly so that people can like pick music when I do stream and I'm just playing. so that I don't have to worry about it and I can actually hear different songs, but it has a bunch of other features apparently. Like banning people for typing in caps or things that it doesn't need to be banning people for because I don't have 8,000 viewers. Oh dude, that looks like kind of like Adventure Time art. Alright. Oh shit! Coach-Pupil with a little bit of a mistake there. Trying so hard to get down that hatchery that the probe killed the drone. Oh, whoa! I did not even notice. I was too busy looking at chat. But would you look at that? That is a 9 hatch in base with an attempt at a hatch out here. What the fudge? Alright, Coach-Pupil's playing weird. I don't have a clue what this is. I really wish I was on rewind right now and I could see exactly what he did. I think it was like, maybe this was just a fake then, I don't know. But this might be 9 hatch, 9 pull, 9 gas, sling all in. But the fact that he does it in his main, I don't really like. Like 9 hatch at your natural is really good, especially against lower level players, because you don't notice that it's 9 hatch. You just see, oh, a hatchery at the natural, that's, you know, you don't notice that it's like an extra 100 HP along or whatever. And you're just like, okay, 12 hatch, you know, econ zerg, whatever. And then all of a sudden, at 20, 30 seconds, a minute faster than normal, you get like 2 groups of speedlings, and you're like, oh my god, what happened? What? Yeah, dude, flame away. It'll probably ban you. It doesn't seem to take shit talk very well, Snowfruit. I might have to give it a spanking myself for not behaving. Frosty Poo saying, I'd be very surprised if Coach-Pupil wins this. I would too, simply because he's built 2 hatch in base, which basically, I don't know, if I'm Protoss, I know I'm thinking at this point, okay, Zerg is going to have a fucked up economy. All I have to do is make some cannons, block my stuff, and Zerg is going to just be super, super dead. And maybe I have to worry about a muta transition. Oh, whoa! The Lings were not attacked. They missed a golden opportunity to kill the living daylights out of that probe. They had like the probe completely surrounded, and then they just sort of stood there and didn't kill it. It's just ever so slightly alive. You can see he's definitely just... This is like the most blatant Ling all in. There was no like attempt to even be subtle about it. Like he's already made 8 Lings. Actually, he did make a few more drones, but he's making more Lings. I don't know why he made more. Let's see what he makes after this. If he just makes Lings now, I'm going to say I have no clue why he made drones. Because he wasn't trying that hard to kill the probe. You know, it'd be one thing if he wanted to make drones while Protoss was in his base, just to be like, okay, I'm playing macro, even though that doesn't make any sense with 2 hatches. But he wasn't really trying that hard to kill the probe, so... Alright, here come the Zerglings. Speed is done. Protoss is gonna die. Protoss only has 2 cannons, he's dead. He is... I don't understand how you... Well, he does pull probes, but I don't understand arc times right now. He's like... Totally, he's scouting all this stuff, but he's not reacting to it. Like he's getting blatantly Ling all in, and he's just sitting here with 2 cannons. You need at least 3 against Ling all in, and you absolutely have. He's not even blocking. I don't understand this play. Oh my gosh, arc times. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, but I don't understand what you're doing here. Like you scouted it. It's not even like Zerg made speedlings and like shut down your scouting, and you're like, well, that's bullshit. Zerg is obnoxious. It's like you saw he's on 2 hatches. 1 base, spamming Zerglings. What else can he do besides Ling all on you? He's not making a lair. He's certainly not going to sit and drone. So, yeah, he's going to die here in a sec. That's a shitload of Lings. Alright, here we go. 1 Zealot out, but that doesn't matter. Here comes a shitload of Zerglings. Although, it's a pretty awkward run-by. Not perfect execution from Coach-Pupil, but, hey, the cannons are instantly dead. And Endless Lings should be flooding in at some point here. He's already picked off 1 Zealot. Now he's going to run into the main with just a ridiculous number of Lings. And of course he can return anytime he wants, as we've seen on a lot of pro games, and pick off the cannons if he tries to build more at the natural to hold up against the rallying Lings. There we go. Some running into the natural now. Gonna start picking off probes there. Oh, he gets a good surround on this Zealot. Well, he was, and then he gets his stuff together. So we'll see. Fat Reaver's trying to put together a defense, but Ling Flood killing the pylon here is going to shut off all gateway production. Should soon spell the end. You can see another huge rally of Lings coming across. Should soon spell the end for Fat Reaver. He is defending, but is very likely on borrowed time. The fact that he can't even start to build cannons or zealots right now with the natural is a huge deal. He would have had a chance at holding without that. But it would take a pretty miraculous defense for him to survive at this point with any level, especially with Ling speed. I mean, just Zerg has all the control, trying to get a nice surround. He's getting the surround on the Zealots. 2 of them are going to die super quickly now, completely helpless. That leaves him with just 1 Zealot. The natural is lost at this point. There are no units. Is he trying to throw a cannon up in the main? He is, but it's in a terrible spot. If you're going to cannon the main, it has to be somewhere kind of in the mineral line so you can at least drill. He's trying to hold. Maybe it is ramp, but that is just not going to work. He's going to survive a few rounds, but more and more Lings will just keep flooding in and overwhelm him. He is getting, the Peruvian is getting out Peruvian right now, so to speak. He's trying to get this cannon to finish, but there are a ton of Lings. He does have a new gateway up in his main, but let's face it, the cannon is canceled, and 1 gateway does not beat 3 hatches of Ling spam. Although that was one heck of a probe drill. Oh my god, those probes did some serious damage. But again, it's one of those things where, like, even if you kill 12 Lings for free, you can't, like, build up your Zealot count, and he's not letting him get cannons down. So, what can you do? What can you do? He's gonna go ahead and kill the Forge. His probe boldly attacking the Lings. I think it did get a Ling kill. What a probe. Hero probe. Hero probe. Kills a Ling fighting solo. He's gonna lose an Overlord. Gateway is down. Oh, now wow, he actually switched into Hydra. That's kind of adorable. That's actually going to allow him to defend his Overlord. And Fat Reaver says, GG. So, I guess the takeaway from those games is, Fat Reaver, react to what you're scouting, please, please. Like, the first game, okay, I get it. Like, that one makes sense to lose. But the second game, you should not have lost that. Like, there's no way you should have lost that. So, our next game will be between Genji and Coach-Pupil. So, in the top position as our white Zerg, we have Genji. And in the right-hand position at 3 o'clock as the brown Protoss, Coach-Pupil. Who is, depending on who you talk to, Coach-Pupil is anywhere between C- and A. There's like some mythology surrounding this guy. Some people I've talked to is literally like, yeah, he's the best player in the league, like by far. I've even heard some people like being like, ah, he's way too strong to be in the league. I don't know if I don't know where that comes from. I don't know where the stories come from, but he's pretty much become a legend in CPL. And Genji, other than being a Zerg player, I don't know anything about him. I feel like he played in CPL ranking tour, but I do not remember how he did or what to expect as a player, so just have to watch and see. And for some reason, I don't recall having casted any games from him yet. So far, doing everything just fine. Nice crisp reactions. Nothing to make me think that this is going to be a ridiculously one-sided game. Although I guess at this point in CPL, we absolutely, we're 6 weeks in, we shouldn't be seeing any games, where a player would start off with a spawning pool with like 7 drones, and then a creep colony, and then a second, we shouldn't be seeing any of that kind of stuff. However, we will be seeing an overpool here. Overlord out, drones on the way. Alright, so he definitely knows the map. He's having a little trouble deciding exactly where he wants to go with the Overlord, but now we have it pointed, more or less, looks like it's headed towards the natural. And, okay, 2 gateway from Coach-Pupil. 2 gateway. And drones going out. So the overpool should deal with the 2 gateway okay. Drone scout. Now, will he make the hatchery first, or will he do 3 Lings first? Coach-Pupil doing a little bit of harass with the probe. Genji so far, not responding. At some point here, he'll need to respond to this. There we go. Is going to move that drone around, and looks like Coach-Pupil is going to be very aggressive. Actually, no, he's just going through the mineral line. Alright. So Genji just deflecting probe harass. Genji still not aware of the dual gateways in the main of Coach-Pupil. And this drone is... oh, it is a scouting drone. What? I thought it already went out. What am I missing? What's happening? Either way, he's going to go out and scout. Does have 2 Lings out critically. Oh, okay. He does make a second Ling. But that might be a problem for him. I mean, 4 Lings is enough to deal with the first Zealot, but remember, there's going to be this period before this hatch finishes where he has to work with 1 hatch larva, which is pretty tough against 2 gate. Your micro has to be really impeccable. Alright, so here we go. First Zealot. Okay. Getting a few initial hits off the Lings, getting some good position. Coach-Pupil gets off a hit of his own, kind of negating the early micro battles. And, oh, Genji runs in and takes another. Oh, sends the wrong Ling in, so it's already going pretty well for Coach-Pupil so far. And he's going to go ahead and pick off another Ling. Zealot doing its job, just going to wait for the next two Zealots to come up. And now there should be Lings being made. Yes, there definitely are. But he's about to be fighting 4 Lings against 3 lots, which is a hard fight. He's going to need a sunken colony, I think, down at this base. Let's see if he brings a drone down. All right, he's got a drone down. I hope he's not bringing the drone. Oh, he's bleeding out Lings, though. Bleeding out Lings. The defense is starting to look a little bit difficult for Genji right now. He does have his 2 hatches up, which will give him a little bit more room, but Coach-Pupil's got enough Zealots. He can start to form some pretty strong positions. He can hold the ramp, start trying to kill this base. There's a lot of things Coach-Pupil can do. He's got a 4th Zealot coming out. I don't know where the 5th Zealot is. I don't think one's died yet. Oh, okay. Whoa. Whoa. Alright, well, things were going good for Coach-Pupil, but he had a definite macro, and wow, this is ballsy as fuck. Getting 2-gated, losing your natural, still takes 3rd base. Gotta give him credit, I guess, for that. That's super risky, but it also might work. I don't know, if he doesn't just die. He's not sunkening, so if he continues to spam Zealots, it could be problematic. But again, he did have that macro delay, and he is actually going to transition into a Stargate. So he is not going to go for the expand. That's kind of cool. We rarely see that from players at DNC ranks. Almost always it's just 5 slots into expand. Oh, doesn't want to target fire the hatchery, I don't think. And now there's enough Lings to surround these Zealots. Coach-Pupil needs to be careful. It looks like he's going to try to drill on the ramp. Oh, nice reaction though from Coach-Pupil, who realizes I need to get off that ramp. So let's see. I think he wants the hatchery. There's a lot of Lings here. Let's see if Genji can get a surround. He picks off one of the Zealots, and now Coach-Pupil on the way home. 2 more Zealots reinforcing. That is actually enough to take on these Lings, though, and the control here from Genji has not been as good as the control from Coach-Pupil, who always seems to be getting the better of the engagements. Genji's not getting surround. Coach-Pupil is getting nice engagements in lines. He's doing an okay job pulling back weakened Zealots. He's going to snipe a drone up here. And now the sunken colony is going up for Genji. That Zealot, Coach-Pupil cannot get it behind the minerals. And again, though, Genji is just bleeding a lot of Lings. He's made enough, but his economy right now is really hurting. We can see Coach-Pupil well ahead, and Genji eventually just calls it, realizes, oh, I don't have enough, my sunken's not done, and says GG. So Coach-Pupil with a pretty easy win. I wouldn't call it flawless execution, but definitely executing better than Genji and able to take the win fairly comfortably as a result. Oh, I thought I hit OK, but I didn't. So, game 2, it looks like Genji has chosen destination. Oh, okay. I was confused for a second. Alright. We will speed through the opening just a little bit. Assuming nothing sneaky. We see nothing sneaky happening. Alright, now we'll go back to regular game speed. Overlord on the way, of course, for Genji. And again, we're going to have an in-base build here from Coach-Pupil, who, so far in all of his PVCs that I've seen, he has not opted for Forge Expand. Seems to like the more aggressive open airs. And with the success he had in Game 1, I don't blame him. I don't feel that Genji really felt comfortable playing that. The way he microed his Lings, the decisions he made, I think he was a little thrown off by that. And maybe he just isn't comfortable with 2-gate, or maybe it was just a little bit of kind of, you know, first game jitters, whatever. We'll see if he responds. And if Coach-Pupil chooses to play the same way, he's got 12 supplies, so it's looking like it's going to be another 2-gate. So it'll be interesting to see how Genji handles the second take of this 2-gate. Doing the same build. We'll see if he plays... Oh, actually, wait. No, Coach-Pupil is not going to do the same build. He's going to do a tech build. But getting the gas on, like, late 12 supply. Drone out for the hatchery. Oh, nice sneak, and Coach-Pupil does not see it. I thought he was there for a second. I thought he was going to turn around. So, pain-free hatch for Genji. Scouting drone is having some difficulties. It's on strike. It's like, Genji, you overworked me. I'm going to take a break. I do like the faster scout, though. It's going to allow him to see what is going on right away. Coach-Pupil blocking some mining, stealing 8 of Genji's minerals. So if we come back and the whole map is mined out, and there's like one pylon left, but there's no units for Genji, and he has 42 minerals, and can't make a Zergling, then we will have to credit this probe for the victory. So drone gets vision. He's like, okay, 1 gate tech, 1 gate with the core. Of course, there's lots of options from here. You usually get a Stargate. Occasionally you'll see like a 3-gate speed zeal rush. Sometimes you just tech DT and then into high T and into high Templar. Few options here. Oh, gets the drone out. Nice little clicking on the minerals. And Coach-Pupil boldly chases it down, but it does have a probe in the main, so he knows what's going on. And now, is he going to third hatch at a third base? Or is he going to take it in his natural? Looks like this time he's going to take it in his natural, which is interesting. He made a third hatch at a third base against 2-gate. And against the less rushy 1-gate tech, is going to go ahead and put it in his natural. But I think that's what happens when you lose a game. You tend to think, what could I have done differently there? You know, honestly, now that I think about it, I'm slightly disappointed that Genji gave up on that third game so soon. Like, I think he felt like he was dead, and with 4 or 5 zealots alive and no lings, he was probably headed that direction. But he did have that third hatchery up, and if he would have massed 6 or 8 lings there and ran into Coach-Pupil's base unexpectedly, there's a chance he could have got something done, because Coach-Pupil absolutely did not know, I feel pretty confident saying, did not know there was a third base from Genji. And he would have just been caught off guard. Doesn't mean he wouldn't have reacted well, but there's a good chance Genji could have done some damage. Dragoon out, blocking, or coming to kill the Overlord. I want to see what he sees. Oh, he sees the Robo. Okay, so that's a big deal. He will not see that a shuttle's being made, but it looks like we're going to have a Reaver from Coach-Pupil. I'm assuming he's not going to do like a 2 Dragoon drop. Although that would be slightly funny. You could put 1 Dragoon here for sure if you had range and like range out the minerals, but outside of that you can't do much. And we're gonna have 3 hatch into Hydra from Genji, which I don't play enough 1-gate tech to really know how the timings work out. I mean, obviously on some level it feels like Hydra would be okay for defending a Reaver. Oh, he's gonna come walk on top of the Ling, he's gonna get a few of them. But I don't know how this actually works out when they play against each other. It looks like he's gonna have enough Hydra to deal with Reaver. And now Genji coming for the run-in, and nope, not quite. Almost, though. Almost gets a Ling in to see. There's the Reaver on the way. Hydra's starting to pop out now. Will he have the upgrades, though? He's definitely going to have speed, but will he have range? I feel like without range, to defend something would be really difficult. And actually, he's just going to make slow lots, of which he has quite a few. Four lots and the Dragoon all coming up to the base. But there are Hydra out for Genji, and Coach-Pupil needs to pull back here. Gonna lose the Dragoon for sure, I think. Well, I say that, and then it's alive with like 4 health. And Coach-Pupil just wants to be super aggressive here, but he's got to be careful. Unless he's just going to use a harass shell, these Zealots are going to be easily microed down, given that the Hydra have speed. The fact that he's losing Hydra is a little bit concerning. He needs a micro. That's actually some cute micro. Needs to do a little bit more than just that, though. Zealot's being split up pretty nicely. Has lost a few Hydra. Oh, shit. That's not what you want to attack. Attacks his own hatchery for a second. This Hydra is just determined to kill his own hatchery. And unfortunately, that is costing him a few of his own units. There we go. Now he's regathered this guy. But all the units, all the Zealots from Coach-Pupil have been donated for only a few Hydra kills, which won't be that great unless... where'd the shuttle go, though? Is he? Okay, there it is. Unless it's thinned the Hydra enough that this Reaver can do good damage. But honestly, he's got so many Hydra that I don't feel like that was really that great for Coach-Pupil. And he seems to be suspicious that something like this is happening, despite having not scouted. So props to him. Reaver coming in now. 3 Hydra, though, is not enough unless he really splits it nicely. All right, Reaver's dropped. Oh, that's not a good start. Nice target firing there from Coach-Pupil too. Not just firing at the front Hydra. So now the drones are under attack. They are run. Fairly quick reaction. A lot of Hydra coming out now. So it's just a matter of dealing with this Reaver efficiently here. But of course it looks like Coach-Pupil has... Actually, does he have speed? I don't know. Gotta be careful. Alright, we are on top of the shuttle. Drops the Reaver. Hydra are really clumped up. Starting to get some spread though. And it looks like the shuttle is going to get sniped. And that will allow the Reaver to be picked off. There we go. Reaver taken care of. So this so far being handled fairly well by Genji. Mike growing back against that Zealot, picking that guy off. Drones can come back to mine, and in the meantime, Coach-Pupil has gone ahead and taken his natural, has a Reaver out for defense, so should be fairly safe, especially with Destination's double bridges that make it incredibly hard to attack across. And then from there, what will be the tech path of choice? Gonna make another shuttle, so maybe we're gonna see a little more harass. Maybe we're gonna see Reaver, a larger scale Reaver push. And now the Hydra streaming out across. Oh, that is going to be dangerous. They're going to have to leave now. No way you can break that. So Coach-Pupil is going to be pretty comfortable with his position, honestly, despite his failed attacks. He forced out a lot of Hydra. The drone count is not super great for Genji, and of course there's not a third base for Genji yet either. So Coach-Pupil is sitting just fine. Oh, geez, Genji's really got to stop doing that. And yes. Destination is definitely Genji's pick. I don't know, why would he do that? He's probably just really comfortable on the map. And alright, here we go. Coach-Pupil is going to go ahead and do another push, and with how many Hydra have just donated, I don't know if this was planned or a reaction to losing all those Hydra, but I kind of like this. I mean, he basically just suicided a full group of Hydra into your Reavers, so you might as well go ahead and attack. And with 2 Reavers here, I mean, that's a lot of firepower behind these Zealots, especially without Sunkens to help him defend, and the situation looks honestly pretty bad. Unless the shuttle's dead. No, the shuttle... Oh, he's just going to harass the shuttle. That's an interesting decision. Let's see how it goes. Reaver's being dropped into the main. Scarab's going off, going to kill these Hydra off pretty quickly. He's trying to make his Sunken now, but he has Reavers in the mineral line causing terror, and forced to say GG. Oh, he had Scourge too. That would have actually completely taken care of that. I guess he felt like he couldn't defend those Zealots, but I don't know. I feel like both of those games, Genji maybe just a little bit on the quick side to GG. Again there, the Scourge would have sniped the shuttle, could have cleaned up the Reaver. Would have been difficult to hold, but the fact he didn't even like try to hold for a second, like he had the means to kill the shuttle with good splits, you know, and the Zealots didn't have speed yet. They were still slow lots. It would help if I used the right password, huh? And it would help if I picked a map. Alright, so I forget what the situation. I think one of these games has already been cast previously. So this is game 2 of Pisan against Snowfruit. So in the top left-hand corner... What? Oh yeah, Snowfruit TVZs, right? So in the top left-hand corner, as the yellow Terran, or I should say yellow Zerg that plays Terran against Zerg, we have Snowfruit. And then the bottom right-hand corner, as the purple Zerg, we have Pisan. I believe both guys are C- players. I don't know how comfortable Snowfruit is in his TVZ. Most Terrans do find it to be their easiest matchup, but of course Snowfruit is not a dedicated Terran, so he definitely spends less time playing Terran than he does playing Zerg, and might not be quite as comfortable then with the matchup as you would expect from a standard Terran. Certainly appears they are playing on Fighting Spirit. I can't imagine what else this map would be. Snowfruit telling us that he's going to do some sweet depot timing. Okay, he is like faking an 8 depot. Oh Jesus, yeah. I think he thought the depot was going to... Maybe what happened is the SCV was about to build the depot on 8, and then he queued the SCV, blocked it, and he's just like thinking he has the depot, and then all of a sudden he's going to be like, fuck, where's my depot? God damn it! Yeah, that was some pretty incredible. I'm a little surprised, in all honesty, that you actually built the depot up here and didn't just like grab and make the depot in like the nearest possible spot. Not that it really makes, it's really the end of the world if you travel the extra 3 seconds to go up there and build. But if it were me, I would have just been like panicking. I'd been like, fucking build a depot, god damn it, where, fuck, just build the depot. That would have been my style of reaction. Alright, so Pisan with the 12 hatch. Overlord scouting up. Drone also going out to scout. So Snowfruit's going to be a little bit sad. His economy's going to be an SCV and a half weaker than it would otherwise be. But fortunately for him, Pisan not doing any super aggressive builds, so the little delay there is not going to be the end of the world for him. And he will, unfortunately though, scout him last. But for Pisan, he will scout last. But on the flip side, Snowfruit's not doing anything super aggressive, so Pisan's just going to come and see like a Marine and can hang around with the drone, maybe look for the command center, see if there's going to be a CC going down, and just figure out what Snowfruit is up to, which looks like standard TVZ. Little surprised here to see Snowfruit making an additional Marine. Oh, never mind, he's got his command center down. I was going to say, if Zerg is 12 hatching, you can actually go CC before any Marines. Certainly you don't need more than one. We got third hatch coming, everything looking pretty standard and solid so far for Pisan. Snowfruit getting some Marines coming down the ramp. Gas going up. Looking pretty normal. Looking pretty normal. It's been a while since we've had a standard game. Been seeing nothing but one base tech builds and all-ins and 4-hatch Hydra and... Well, no, our first game actually was like the ultimate bread and butter. We went from like bread and butter standard. Oh, that game was a little rough. That game was like no rush 15. Alright, so Snowfruit tries to make a bunker to no avail. Possibly just trying to do the... I'm going to make a bunker and hope you freak out and make a bunch of lings. Did it work? Probably not. Nope. So kudos to Pisan, who was not at all flustered, just totally takes that bluff off the arm. He's like, I know what you're doing. Don't even try. Don't even try. Engineering bay. So it's looking like +1, 4, 5 racks here from Snowfruit. That is a what? Okay, normally the bunker goes there and the depot goes there. I don't know. That's a little bit interesting. I don't know if he's going to put another depot. I don't even know if you can. So I'm going to go ahead and call that strange depot placement. I mean, it's better than nothing, but I think it's a lot better to have a depot here because that's such a nice path for lings to like shoot through there. So if you have the depot up there, it blocks that and they have to go down there. Warming him up for me. That sounds pretty intense, Laser Snipe. Pretty intense. What are you guys up to over there? Alright. Metabolic speed halfway. Lair about done. So pretty good spire timing here for Pisan. Actually, this is going to be great spire timing. Oh, and never mind. It's going to be good Hydra timing. He's going to go for lurkers. He does have the lings blocking that, so Snowfruit doesn't yet know that that is what Pisan is up to, especially given the slower Academy from +1 5 racks. One sunken is up. We'll kill off the SCV. Probably didn't need to morph that into a sunken, and by probably I mean definitely didn't need to morph it into a sunken. It would have been one thing if he had it as a creep colony, but you've got a scouting ling outside the front. You don't need to make the minerals, invest the minerals in making the sunken. So we got some lurker on the way. Still no detection here from Snowfruit, and then we should soon see the barracks explosion. +1 about halfway. And then for Snowfruit, it's going to be a matter of getting out on the map before Pisan has a whole bunch of lurkers, because with this build, the main thing you want to do as Terran is prevent Zerg from pushing you all the way back to your bridges, so you're just stuck hanging out there. You want to surround the lurkers, make the lurkers work for every inch of the map. Otherwise, if Zerg is able to just walk to your bridge, they just burrow here. You're stuck back there. Zerg can expand without any fear. They can just tech. They know they're completely safe because, you know, if they have 5 lurkers at your bridge, you can't do shit against them. If they have 5 lurkers in the middle of the map, your army is terrifying. You know, this group of Marines can beat 5 lurkers if there's an open field to work with. But behind a bridge or whatever, nope. Nope. You could have 5 times the numbers and have a hard time breaking it. Unless you have, like, vessels and get into fancy D-Matrix cool stuffs. So, with that in mind, Pisan is taking that third base. Got some Hydras going over the ramp. His lurkers should be done, so he's going to get the third base up fairly quickly here. And we don't see a Queen's Nest quite yet, but certainly plenty of lurkers. Going to go ahead and initially burrow here. It is natural, but I think we'll see him start to move out onto the map with these at some point. Maybe he's just going to sit back since he is going for a pretty damn quick hive. And if it's +1 5 racks, I would say this is okay. It's going to be +1 4 racks. So the tech timing is decent here from Snowfruit. It's not like he's going to have to deal with defilers swarming into his natural before he's even started his science facility. I mean, he'll have a vessel out, he'll have a window. I don't think he'll be able to put on serious pressure to Pisan with like a pre-defiler vessel timing, but he'll definitely have enough that he won't have to worry about getting swarmed to the natural. But I think Pisan's going to be pretty happy with how this game's going. He's got really fast hive tech, he's got a lot of lurkers, he's going to get a third lurker up to this base. I don't think the Marines can pick it off. And he's going to get his third base up without any real difficulty. The only thing he has to worry about now is potentially defending against drops. Actually, I don't know what this lurker decided to do. It took a weird path. I thought it was just going to run up to the third base, but decided not to. Hive on the way. Evo chamber coming up. Let's see how quick he is to get his carapace. Should be fairly quick. Nice. And he's going to split off one Marine, which will die to lurker spines, and alert him to the likely presence of a third base. Starport going up promptly. I like this. Snowfruit very focused. I see a lot of Terrans at like, you know, DC level who they get their factory and then they forget for a while and they're like, oh fuck, I need a starport, and then a little bit later, oh, I need a facility, and then their vessels end up being a minute and a half later than they need to be or could be, and it causes them a lot of unnecessary angst and trouble. Large reinforcement from Marines. That's the only thing that maybe I don't totally love about what Pisan has done here. I mean, he's comfortable because he's getting his fast hive, but I think he would have had some windows earlier where he could have pushed all this back and maybe had Snowfruit a little more back at his natural, a little more, oh, I'm kind of scared, there's a lot of lurkers out there. Alright, we got the starport now. Facility? Okay, it's the Hive into Spire build. Apparently not defilers. I'm actually really curious now if he's going to like make mutas and guardians. I think he's going to make a defiler den though. Yeah. But he does want to get a Spire, deal for drops, and actually looks like Snowfruit realizes, hey, there's a third base up, I'm not going to get anything done, so let me just go ahead and take my third base and start thinking about how I'm going to transition. He's actually getting a second starport, so that is interesting to me. He's not making tanks, so there's a possibility we're going to see dual vessels, but there's also a possibility we're going to see drops, which is pretty strong against this fast hive stuff. It's ridiculously strong. Like if you don't get a Nidus, you're just going to almost certainly die to it. And even if you do, it can be strong just because Zerg doesn't have a whole lot of units. And defending with just lurkers against super mobile drops is hard to do. Now if you have defilers and your utilization of them is good, it's more than possible to defend, but I would not call it an easy defense. I would definitely like to see a Nidus started. Okay, that's probably the Nidus good. Now, I'm sure he'll make a vessel, but then from there, I'm very curious to see where he goes with this. Is he going to play this with drops? Is he going to play this with vessels and MM? We do see he's actually going to make a tank now, so that brings more stuff into play. I thought he was just going to skip the tank. Oh, nice time for these Lings to get up here. Going to kill this Marine, no problem. And we'll force a short-term lift on this. Oh, he's already got a dropship out. Okay, so definitely going to see some drop play. I don't know about this position with his army. I don't really like sitting two control groups of Marines over to third base that Zerg is not using. And now that just lets Zerg run everywhere on the map. Let stuff like this happen. He's actually burrowed lurkers up here, which is super obnoxious. So I would say a little bit of a mistake here from Snowfruit to just let Pisan come up here, which part of that is because he moved his army away from the front door. To let Pisan come up here and just fuck up his third base. But we do have a dropship out. So one dangerous thing, drop here, run in super quick. Remember, there's nothing back here, so it's super easy to snipe the Nidus unless... Oh, shit. Oh, shit. That was a bit of a mistake. That's one of those things where you tell your army to move here, but half of it thinks this is the shortest route, so it takes a stupid path, and you don't notice it, and you're just like, oops. Alright, we got defilers out. Getting our second carapace, right? That is second carapace, right? Yeah, so pretty nice upgrades here. Dropship is going to go... Where'd the drop... Oh, dropship is unloading in the main right now, so Pisan is aware of it. Lings are coming back. Of course, he has the defilers, a lot of lurkers. I don't think this drop is going to do a whole lot of damage, but there are a lot of fire bats in it, so it is going to shred these Lings, and then he'll just have to kite back from the lurkers. Let's see how the reaction pretty good. So Snowfruit moving towards the back of that base here is slowly going to get whittled down, and honestly, the drop is not going to do a whole lot. See if he tries to get the dropship out of there. He's going to try to pick up. Remember, there's a lot of Scourge we saw hatching. And here comes the fleet of Scourge. Let's see. Okay, he's going to only send two. Nice, nice, nice. Little bit Sloppy loss of the dropship, and the base still getting denied from Snowfruit, kind of over-microing that drop, and not taking care of getting his base at the same time. A little more multitasking would be really nice there. And concerningly, these starports appear to have gone idle for the entire period of that drop as well. He did do a good job macroing, but he didn't make vessels. So instead of having 2 vessels with energy or 2 dropships ready to go, he has nothing. Needs to be a little bit more careful with these tanks, but after he clears out these lings, he should be able to go ahead and just siege up and pick off these lurkers. I would like to see him send a few marines over here, so it's not just tanks. And I'm getting a bit concerned by how long Snowfruit is taking to get this 3rd base. Like, he invested some decent bit in getting a quick 3rd base, and now he is... I realize lurkers up a ramp are a problem, but he's basically microing his heart out in other places on the map and not getting much value out of it while having his 3rd massively delayed. He's going to come in here and snipe the Defiler, which admittedly is annoying, but there are just too many lurker and ling to really get anything done. And I guess the other thing too about Snowfruit's play is he's kind of got that position. He's trying to get the sort of pre-mech transition map position that you want, where you have, you know, Marines sort of shutting down both bridges and keeping Zerg from running all over the map. But it's taken him a long time, even though he's kind of had that position, to get this 3rd cleared out, which is the main thing you want for a quick seamless mech transition. You want to get your 3rd and 4th up quickly. But he's taken a long time to get this base. Really nice upgrading job so far from Pisan, which is going to make these ultras, by the way. These ultras are going to be fucking ridiculous. He's getting his first armor, but is he getting his next attack? These ultras are going to be so strong. Let's see how quickly Pisan starts 3rd carapace. Oh! Like I said, need to send some marines over. This is going really bad for Snowfruit at the 3rd base right now. At least he's building one over here, but this base is not... I don't know why he's so afraid to come over here and just, like, bring his stuff and take the base, especially when you have Zerg generally blocked out. We are going to have another drop flying into the main. Vessel's coming over. He's going to land the CC. I think this guy's irradiated. But, alright, so he's got his Marine and Medic coming over. His dropship got scourged, unfortunately. Finally clears that out. Should be able to land the 3rd base. Now going to put some Marine and Medic on the top of the ramp. I will give Snowfruit credit, though. His macro is really nice. That is not easy to keep running 15 minutes into a game, and his minerals are just like flash levels of low. Oh, be careful with the vessels. Alright, so we got some Marine and Medics standing over here, possibly thinking about running in since he has irradiated the Defiler, and there's not a second Defiler over. In fact, he could run in right now, and that would be very scary. I don't think there's lurkers under here. Oh, there are. Never mind. Never mind, he can't run in. Snowfruit or Pisan more okay than I thought he was. Can see a 4th base coming up now here, and here come the ultras. And remember, the upgrades are really good right now for Snowfruit, or for Pisan, and Snowfruit immediately GG's from the ultras. So yeah, I don't know. That was, in hindsight, I'm not sure what Snowfruit should have done differently other than blocking those lurkers out quicker. And then honestly, he probably just needed to get his 3rd and get into his mech transition faster, or be a heck of a lot more focused on getting his upgrades out really quick. Because if you're going to play Marine Medic against Ultra, if you're down an upgrade or two, the Ultras and Lings get ridiculously strong and you just cannot kill them at all. You know, your Marines